Imagine a mini computer that measures less than 5 inches by width and length and less than 2 inches by height that plays emulators really well within Batocera. How well? Well enough to play Wii, PS2, 3DS, Wii U, and PS3 games. Well, imagine no more. Better yet, all this is possible in a mini computer that is worth less than $600. Not an expensive gaming rig, but just a humble little NUC computer. Today, for our premier product review in Batocera Nation, we will be reviewing the ASRock NUC Box 1165 G7 running on the 11th generation Intel i7 chip. As part of our review process, we will put the ASRock NUC computer through emulation gaming as we examine how well it emulates the Dreamcast, Gamecube, Wii, PS2, 3DS, Wii U, and PS3 consoles. Furthermore, towards the conclusion of our review, I will also be sharing with you some important tips so that you can get the ASRock NUC computer running to its optimal performance within Batocera. By the way, all the opinions expressed in this video are strictly my own. ASRock is not paying or sponsoring this review in any manner. Likewise, ASRock did not send me this NUC computer for review. Now, onward with our review. Let's do it. Greetings everyone and welcome to Batocera Nation. As promised, today we're going to be reviewing the ASRock NUC Box 1165 G7. So this little NUC computer measures less than 5 inches by width and length and 1.88 inches in height. Inside the unit you will find 2 memory slots for maximum capacity 64 gigabytes, and for storage you can install one M.2 NVMe SSD and a 2.5-inch SATA drive. In the front, you will find one audio jack, one USB 3.2 Type A connection, and 2 USB 3.2 Type C connections. In the back, you will find 2 USB 3.2 connections, one HDMI 2.0A connection, one DisplayPort 1.4 connection, and 2 LAN connections. Now then, ASRock makes 4 11th generation Intel NUC computers, but the main 3 are as follows. We've got the i7 one right here. This is the i5, and there's also an i3. If you want to do high-end emulation, I would not even bother with the i3. I would have focused on either the i5 or the i7. This is the one we're going to be reviewing today. So what are the differences between the i7 and the i5? Well, both of them have 4 cores and 8 threads. However, the i7 has a 12 megabyte cache, and the i5 has an 8 megabyte cache. In addition, the i7 has a base clock of 2.8 gigahertz and the boost clock of 4.7 gigahertz. The i5, on the other hand, has a base clock of 2.4 gigahertz and the boost clock of 4.2 gigahertz. In addition, there's a difference also in the processor graphics. The i5 operates on 80 execution units, as opposed to the i7, which has 96 execution units. So the i7 is definitely more powerful in its graphics department as opposed to the i5. And I would say between the two, I would say that the i5 operates between 80-85% capacity compared to the i7. So I would stick with one of these two. Right now, unfortunately, the i7, as of May of 2021, is not in stock anywhere. So be patient until it gets there. If you cannot wait, then I would say it's okay to get the i5, bearing in mind that it's not as powerful as the i7. Now, onward with the emulation testing.
Head for the point marked on the map in your Sheikah slate.
Before we proceed with PS3 emulation, let me share with you the settings that I use for these games. In fact, these are some of the best settings you can use on any computer for that matter. So for all these games, make sure that you create a custom configuration file, okay? So for CPU, normally I use this one. Occasionally I will use this one, okay? For SPU threads, between 2 and 3 are your best options. Make sure you select lower CPU thread priority and disable enable SPU loop detection. For GPU, of course, choose Vulkan. It'll give you the best possible performance. I tend to choose disable for this. In some games, you will see graphical gibberish on the screen. If you see that, then I'll go ahead and select this feature right here, right color buffers, okay? For audio, make sure it's set to OpenAL, and then for audio buffering, choose 150 milliseconds. The default is 100. For advanced, for the maximum spurt threads, between 3 and 4, also choose this one, relax this right here, okay? If you see that the game you know is compatible but it's not booting up at all, then go ahead and deselect this one. For emulator, for the LLVM compile threads, between 3 and 4 are your best option, okay? And those again are the best options you can choose on almost all the games. Let me share with you what I use for the Skate 3. I did do something a little bit differently, all right? So for the SPU decoder, I chose this one. This gives you a little greater performance, okay? For the SPU threads, I chose 2. For the GPU, I had to click on this one because otherwise I was seeing graphical gibberish on the screen. So go ahead and select that right there, okay? And that's it. Make sure that for all these settings, you apply and you save the custom configuration file. All right, let's proceed with PS3 emulation.
Run! Run! Are we the only ones left? No one responded. We're running out of time. Let's move out! We can't forget our mission. We can't let everyone's death be in vain. Hurry!
Before we wrap up, let me share with you 3 important tips to get the ASRock computer operating at its optimal performance within Batocera. The first tip I want to share with you is that when you install the M.2 SSD, make sure that the screw is nice and tight. Otherwise, it's not going to boot up properly. In fact, when I first got it, I put a SSD in there and it wasn't booting up. I thought something was wrong with the SSD, so I tried the second one. Same problem. I was about to return it, in fact, when I realized I had to really tighten it really nice and tight, and then finally it was able to boot up properly. The second tip is when you first boot up the computer, make sure you press F11 on the keyboard and you'll see this screen. Go into setup so you can mess around with the BIOS, okay? Go into advanced, go into CPU configuration, go into operating mode. The default setting is normal mode. You want to make sure you choose performance mode so you get the best performance of your NUC computer, okay? Hit escape and then go into hardware monitor. Click on that. Go into this one here, target fan speed. I think that's default mode, I think is 5 or so. You might want to bring it up between 7, 8, and 9. I have it at level 9 because I don't mind the fan noise. It doesn't bother me. When I'm playing, I can't even hear it at all. And furthermore, I want it to be operating as cool as it possibly can be. Now then, once you've chosen your fan speed, go ahead, hit enter, and then go ahead, hit F10 to save the configuration and exit. Okay, so my NUC computer has loaded up. Let me go ahead to system information. And you can see that the temperature, nice and cool, right? Another tip I want to share with you is when you go into the audio output, make sure you choose HDMI 3. That's the only one that seems to work with this NUC computer, okay? So if you try the first 2, they're not going to work. Number 3 will work fine, not any problems. Okay, so that is a wrap. If you found this video useful, please go ahead and like it. That will help me out with the YouTube algorithms. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. I've got more reviews coming up as well as more tutorials. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on Batocera Nation. Bye.